you are always the one fixing what you did not break, listen carefully. Because sometimes the reason the relationship is not getting better is not because you are not trying hard enough. Sometimes it is because you have been made responsible for a problem that requires another person's repentance, honesty, maturity, and accountability. And some of you know exactly what that feels like. Every time something goes wrong, somehow it becomes your fault. If they are distant, maybe you were not loving enough. If they are angry, maybe you triggered them. If they disrespect you, maybe your tone was wrong. If they withdraw, maybe you asked for too much. If they betray trust, maybe you did not make them feel valued enough. If they keep hurting you, maybe you need to pray harder, soften more, submit more, understand more, forgive faster, explain better, try again. And slowly, without realizing it, you become the repair department for a relationship where you are not the only person causing damage. You start carrying guilt that does not belong to you. You start apologizing for peace. You start over-functioning. You start studying their moods. You start changing your language. You start shrinking your needs. You start asking, what can I do differently? Before you ever ask, what are they refusing to take responsibility for? That is the trap. Manipulation does not always make you believe the relationship is perfect. Sometimes manipulation makes you believe that the relationship is failing because of you. And once you believe that, you will keep trying to fix it at your own expense. You will keep giving more patience, more grace, more explanation, more emotional labor, more chances, more forgiveness, more self-examination, more silence, more sacrifice. But instead of things getting better, they get worse. Because you cannot repair a relationship by taking responsibility for someone else's character. Let that sit. You cannot fix dishonesty by becoming more understanding. You cannot fix cruelty by becoming softer. You cannot fix inconsistency by becoming more patient. You cannot fix disrespect by communicating more effectively. You cannot fix manipulation by trying to prove you are good enough to be treated well. And that is where many women become exhausted because they are working hard but not healing. They are trying but not transforming the dynamic. They are giving but not being met. They are praying but not seeing fruit. They are adjusting, but the goalpost keeps moving. Every time they change one thing, another accusation appears. You speak up, you are disrespectful. You stay quiet, you are distant. You ask for clarity, you are pressuring them. You stop asking, you do not care. You forgive, they repeat it. You set a boundary, they say you have changed. And now you are trapped in a relationship where nothing you do is ever enough because the real purpose is not repair. The real purpose is control. And if they can keep you guilty, they can keep you busy. Busy fixing, busy proving, busy explaining, apologizing, busy doubting yourself, busy trying to become the kind of woman they will finally stop mistreating. And while you are busy blaming yourself, they do not have to face themselves. This is the part you need to see. Your guilt becomes their hiding place. Your over-responsibility becomes their escape route. Your desire to make things work become the very thing they use to avoid becoming accountable. And if you are a woman of faith, this can become even more painful because you may start spiritualizing the guilt. Maybe I need to be more patient. Maybe God is teaching me endurance. Maybe I need to be more submissive. Maybe I need to die to self. Maybe I am the problem. But discernment has to ask what guilt is trying to make you ignore. Is guilt making you ignore their pattern? Is guilt making you ignore their refusal to change? Is guilt making you ignore your own exhaustion? Is guilt making you ignore the fact that the more you try, the less they take responsibility? Because guilt is not always conviction. Sometimes guilt is conditioning. Sometimes guilt is manipulation. Sometimes guilt is the emotional leash someone uses to keep you repairing a relationship they keep damaging. And that is not love. Love does not make one person the permanent mechanic of another person's dysfunction. Love does not make one person carry all the emotional labor while the other person carries all the excuses. Love does not require you to keep cleaning up the consequences of behavior someone refuses to change. A healthy relationship has mutual responsibility, mutual humility, mutual repair, mutual truth, mutual willingness to look inward. But manipulation creates one-sided responsibility. They hurt you and you comfort them. They disrespect you and you apologize for reacting. They create instability and you work harder to create peace. They refuse accountability and you call it patience. They keep breaking the relationship and you keep bleeding, trying to hold it together. At some point, you have to stop. Not because you do not care, but because caring cannot replace accountability. Your effort cannot substitute for their repentance. Your love cannot become the center structure holding two people together while the other person keeps pulling bricks out of the wall. And this is the revelation. If your effort increases and your responsibility decreases, you are not healing the relationship. You are being trained to carry it alone. If your guilt keeps growing while the accountability keeps disappearing, you are not being loved into growth. You are being manipulated into overfunctioning. If every problem becomes your fault, every solution becomes your burden, that is how you get depleted. That is how you lose yourself. That is how you start believing that peace depends on your ability to become smaller, quieter, easier, softer, less needy, less honest, less human. But you are not the whole problem. You are not the whole situation. And you are not required to keep fixing what someone else keeps refusing to stop breaking. You are allowed to step back and ask, what part of this actually belongs to me? That question can save you. Because yes, take responsibility for your part. Yes, grow. Yes, reflect. Yes, apologize when you are wrong. Yes, communicate with wisdom. But do not let someone weaponize your humility into a prison. Do not let them use your willingness to self-examine as proof that everything is your fault. Do not let them use your softness as a dumping ground for their dysfunction. You are not weak because you are tired. You are not foolish because you wanted it to work. You are not wrong for asking, what can I do better? But now, you must also ask, what are they refusing to do at all? That is discernment. And if the answer is that they refuse honesty, refuse accountability, refuse consistency, refuse repair, refuse emotional maturity, refuse respect, refuse to look at themselves, then stop trying to repair the relationship by sacrificing more of yourself. Because the problem is not your lack of effort. The problem is the lack of ownership. So if this is you, please stop. Stop carrying guilt that was handed to you so they would not have to carry responsibility. Stop trying to become perfect enough to stop being mistreated. Stop confusing your ability to endure with evidence that the relationship is still worth saving. Stop letting someone make you feel like their behavior is your assignment. You matter too. Your peace matters too. Your well-being matters too. Your reality matters too. And a relationship that only survives when you keep blaming yourself is not a relationship built on love. It is a relationship built on your exhaustion. This is Redefine Your Narrative. And maybe the relationship you need to redefine is this. I can take responsibility for my part without being responsible for someone else's refusal to change. God bless you.